Hello, what's up, Facebook Live? How are you? Those of you watching on replay, it's great to have you. I have been really looking forward to sharing this message and a few tips here to help you bust through career stagnation, bust through any stuckness that you're feeling, disconnection from purpose. And I have a very career stagnation, we have a very special guest here, Nicole, working with the tech. And I wanted to use Nicole as a case study for what's actually possible for you. But I just want a brief introduction myself. My name's Dr.Nima Rahmany. I'm a chiropractor turned mental optimization coach, and I help peeps who are and professionals who are sick, stressed, and stuck in their relationships and their careers become powerfully aligned and have the greatest year ever. And yeah, this is Lucy. She's my sidekick. She comes and works with me. Hey, Crystal. Nice to see you, hon. And I just wanted to introduce this lovely lady, Nicole, whose case study was so inspiring that we just got together and we said, we're going to work together. We're going to create something. And we have, and got something really cool up the pipeline that we wanted to share and give you some tips by the end of this little Facebook Live. You're going to know exactly what steps to take if you're feeling like you're stuck in your career, you want to make a move, you want to make that transition, you know what you want to do, but you just feel paralyzed and anxious, and we're going to find out the root cause of why. And so, welcome, Nicole.
Thanks, Nima. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. Nicole, tell us a little bit about you, where you live, what you do, and how you kind of came into this kind of work and where you were at when we first met.
Well, I live in beautiful Brisbane in Queensland, Australia. I'm from England originally, so you'll probably hear that in my accent. I'm a business and life, a little bit of both. I'm a business and life mindset coach, and I've been doing that for quite a few years now. And I have some amazing clients both here in Queensland and even around the world. So like yourself, Nima, I have some beautiful people that I work with. And like you, I've been mentored by Dr. John Demartini. He's been one of my mentors. And, I have some other tools and processes and qualifications. And I'm formerly a teacher. So one thing that I really, really love to do is to really teach others to be able to do this for themselves so that they're really empowered and, can get on with their lives and live their inspired mission, which, just absolutely makes my heart sing.
Yeah.
But I've known you for a couple of years more. I've known you more than you've known me. Okay. So sort of because I saw you in the Demartini world, yeah. I had sort of picked up on, who is this guy? He's interesting, he's quirky, he's smart as, but don't let that go to your head. So
never.
It was no, I know. You've never suffered with that. So, look, I'd been following you and listening in on your, which is the Art of Powerful Alignment group. Yeah. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Facebook group. So I was a member there. I'd bought your overview method home study course. So that was really fantastic as well, which I loved it. And then, so what happened was, do you want me to go into that or?
Well, I mean, we know a little bit about you, what you do, but can you tell a little bit to the peeps where you're at as far as career stagnation, like where you are at the moment? And
when I came to reach out to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What point? So that, in a way where the audience can kind of relate to where you're at as far as knowing that kind of thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that was going to be my next way to go. So around about March this year, I had hit a really, really low point. It's what I call, I was mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually depleted. Okay. Now, all of that impacted in career stagnation, because when you're in that state of mind and being, you just can't take action in your business. I was completely frozen. I felt disconnected from my mission and purpose. and uninspired. And I live in an inspired state. Well, I'm used to living, I should say, in an inspired state. But what had happened was I'd had an intense, seriously intense 6-month period of trauma and loss. And it was both family members. So 2 parents died within a 3-month period of each other. One suddenly, unexpectedly, the other after a period of 6 months with a cancer diagnosis. That was my mum. So she was very young and it was a shock. So the cancer diagnosis itself was the huge shock. And then obviously losing her quite quickly after that was, as loss is, it's challenging. In the midst of all of this, there were financial challenges. So there were unexpected costs. Both parents lived a significant distance from us. So it just really impacted us. I kind of put down a figure today that it cost about $20,000 all up to take care of all of the travel, funeral expense, loss in business. Very small amount of loss in business was accounted for. This was real physical costs. Add on to that then a loss in business. You're starting to see significant financial stress, to be honest. And this was coming on the back end of 18 months of challenge. I've got 2 businesses that I'm associated with. So I have my coaching and mentoring. And then with my husband, I have an extreme adventure leadership company, which is a special forces style company, right? But that had got very exciting. We were doing great things. And then we went through a period where we decided not to work with our investors. So we went on Shark Tank and, so anyway, long story short, decided not to do that, which then we were behind now because we've just gone through a 9-month due diligence process. That's very onerous if anybody's ever done that. And so it takes you out of business, okay, because you're working on it, you're not working, and we weren't making any money essentially.
So
then we got on our feet.
Yeah, I'm just going to interrupt you. So in other words,
it's okay.
What's going on here is that not only were you dealing with the grief and the loss of 2 family members, but also the realities, the financial realities of having 2 businesses, you're entrepreneur essentially. And then there was stresses with that, with the loss financially, and then your mindset wasn't in a good place. Anybody who's an entrepreneur, who owns a business knows how much who they're being in the business is going to impact, their income and what's going on there. You were dealing with that. And then what about your family dynamics? What was going on there?
Well, there you go. So here, this was just the kicker. I mean, finances aside and everything else, when the people close to you, and this is where my heart starts to come into this one now. My relationship with my husband, we're good, but we weren't great. We were getting by on the smell of an oily rag. There was so much stress in our lives. We were not being particularly nice to one another. We weren't being nasty, but hey, it was just cohabiting. Then my son, my children both had health issues. And then immediately after the death of my mum, my son basically told me that he wanted nothing more to do with me. Wow. Now he lives at home. He's only in his early 20s. There was a massive amount of what I'd call vitriol, but I have no charge on that now. I just want to be very clear about that. Yeah. I can actually now understand his point of view and where he came from, but it was like another wound 2 days after my mum died. That broke my heart apart. And also there was a falling out with my sister, which again, I perceive it was instigated by her, but I understand I'm part of the dynamic.
Sorry, I'm just going to jump in there. I'm just going to jump in because whenever you say something that's really relevant, I want to get in there. I don't mean to interrupt you, hon.
No, that's cool.
So basically, career stagnation. When you reached out to me, it's like all of these things have been going on. So the listeners, the ones who are tuning in and are listening in, will have a chance to do some Q&A or any questions. But I just want you to get that career stagnation and purposelessness, this feeling of an uninspired state, doesn't just randomly happen. It doesn't just show up randomly and you wake up and you go, I don't know. It's the direct result of one curveball, a right hook, a left hook. And so, Nicole, when you reached out to me, there was a period of 2 years of 1 and 2, like a 1-2 punch happened. And what state were you in when you reached out? Where did it all come to?
Yeah, I was at I would say my lowest ebb that I could possibly be at and still just when I say cleaned up in the day, and that was it. I would sit at my desk. I couldn't think straight. I had no clarity of purpose. I couldn't take action. I really wanted to just stay in bed, pull the covers over my head, and I wanted the world to go away and just leave me alone.
Isolation, and I know what that's like.
Totally. Didn't want to be around anybody. I don't know whether embarrassed was the right word. I felt a huge degree of shame. I felt I wasn't coping. That embarrassed me, because here I am, mindset coach, absolutely run into the ground, and feeling like I was unable to get myself out of it, and I understand why. I mean, a surgeon doesn't operate on themselves, do they? And this was an emergency. I'd come into the ER and I needed some support, and that's when I reached out to you.
And I'm so honored that you have. And so what we did right away, what did you notice? Like, so what did it take? Like, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you, where are you now? And let's what the steps were to get there. So that's where you started. A few months later, here we are now. Where would you say you're at now with business, with your relationships, with your connection to your higher self, all of that? What's life like? Excuse me. What's life like now for you?
Well, I'll give a little bit. It's like day and night. Okay. So, or rather, before it was night, now it's day. I am completely on mission with my vision for myself and my career, my businesses. So that's fantastic. I feel completely connected to my mission, and I feel inspired again every single day. I'm waking up and I feel inspired. Are there still crappy days? Yes, there are. And I'll talk a little bit about that, because I want to make a point, but I'll come to that point afterwards. I had immediately, when I took action, I felt a huge weight lift off my shoulders. I know that happens. I teach my clients that happens, but to actually experience the difference between how depleted I felt, and then suddenly I felt I had space again. I had room and I could think clearly. I'm telling you, Nima, I gave you my credit card details and it was like that. It was
I must be getting really good if that's the case. But what you're talking about, this is the phenomenon that many of my clients, anybody who just recently jumps in and they get excited about a greater possibility and they scare themselves. And what you just did, what you're talking about, is the declaration. You declared, you committed, you made a commitment and a declaration, and instantly it's like you give birth to a new possibility, which didn't exist before. And so, my friends, my dear Facebook family, this is the very first step towards busting through career stagnation. Is you've got to make a commitment and a declaration to something greater. And too many people I talk to, they go, I'll have a think about it. Well, you're going to have to let me think about it. If you thought about it, Nicole, if you said, all right, let me just think about it, and then you went back in and thought about it, and you got back to me the next day without any hesitation, without any exaggeration, what would have been the case?
Look, I think I would have put it off. I'd have kept back in my loop of, you can fix this yourself. You should be able to fix this yourself. And I'd have just cycled continually around and around. Yeah. Totally. Absolutely.
And crush your dreams when you don't commit. It was the commitment. All of a sudden, she got started. I just wanted to let you got started with the program. You got all that online kind of stuff that you had to fill out. But the funny thing that happened was I would just watch you before even our first session together, before you even got started. you're just like, I'm rocking it. I'm now made a commitment to the greatest version. I'm living into something. So your first step to overcome career stagnation is to create an intention, is to set an intention and to take action. To not just action by word, or I'm going to think about it, I'm going to get around to it, but literally put pedal to the metal and take an action living into your greatest version. So what else did you do through this process that got you to the place where it's completely night and day, where you feel inspired, you feel purposeful, your income is gone way up, your relationships have transformed, and now you're basically, in alignment with yourself? What were the next steps that were impactful for you that you could share with peeps who are getting career trends?
Yeah. Going through the back end of the materials that you provide us and doing the first two modules in particular, but, really reconnecting with my mission again, and not just reconnecting with it, but I sort of had a mission already, obviously, as I said, but what I did was I went back through with fresh eyes, and I'm like, okay, this is probably now 6 months since I had updated it. What is it I really, really want? And using all of the tools and the great questioning that you helped us to deepen our understanding. And also, obviously, with the help of you and George, that was really fantastic. Can't minimize that at all. So really getting that and then connecting with it on a daily basis. Yeah. No excuses, just getting up, reading it. And obviously my meditation practice was also really, really crucial to center and ground me for the start of the day and really, set me up for who I wanted to be that day. So that was really important to me, because it didn't matter. I guess the thing was, I had lost touch with who I was choosing to be because I was actually operating from this other person. It didn't feel like me. I knew, obviously it was part of me, but it was the part of me that was in crisis and operating.
Your recent past self that was stuck in emotional charge from the grief and the stress. Stress
and the fear, so much fear. I can't tell you, like fear of losing my family, my finances, my home. I mean, it was.
There is nothing so effective at destroying your dreams than stress hormones. Mm. So if you're wondering right now why you feel stagnant in your career, why you think things aren't moving, you can use Nicole's kind of example. What you want to ask is, what traumas, dramas, crisis have I gone through over the past few weeks, months that have resulted in me just losing touch with my higher self. So when I see people for the first time, they reach out to me, and that's what I do. I get in and I find out exactly where the trigger is. Whether the trigger is you just kind of, one person that I just spoke to recently just got triggered and went into a tailspin recently when his new girlfriend all of a sudden went away for the weekend and triggered old past traumas of, abandonment or whatever. And boom, his vision completely got shocked and now is in stress hormone and survival mode. And when you're in that state, you're not in service. You are not actually using the neocortex, which is your thinking, creative centers. You're in your monkey mind. You're in your reptilian brain, which is reaction. You're not taking on the day with power. You're in kind of I'm reactive mode, and that's where I meet people. And Nicole, it's just so amazing to see the transformation, to see that you went from, dare I say it, wanting to just call it quits. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be too strong. Look, I think if I'm completely honest with myself, which I am, I'm a very, I reflect a lot, and I will be very honest with people. I have no shame around this. I think if I'd have gone on for another month or two, I think there would have been, I may as well just opt out of this. This is just, because my whole world felt like it had completely imploded. That's where I was at.
And you just started with a commitment. It was scary, wasn't it? You're like,
Oh my God, I was shaking.
Yeah,
I was,
a lot of
I
times
was shaking. I didn't know how I was going to pay for it. There was just, you know,
everybody
and
goes,
you know what I did, and I really want to share this with people. And
"Please."
this is now from everything's from my heart, but this is another touch point. The moment when you actually acknowledged that I might not be ready, because you could see the fear in me. Like my head was going, where am I going to get the money? Where, you know, I was doing all of that. And then I took a pause and I actually said to myself, Nicole, you can't afford not to do this, because I knew where you know what I've just shared with you, that actually it would cost the family a whole lot more to bury me. I know that sounds awful.
Wow.
I'm being really honest, right? It was going to cost them a lot more than the investment to bury me. And that didn't even account for their grief than it was to invest in getting myself out of this mess.
Nicole, I never saw it that way, and I'm just, whew. That was the moment I took a pause and I went, you can't afford not to do this, because that just hit me in the feels, because I know what that's like to do, and having my back up against the wall and having to cross that bridge of fear and trust and say, look, I'm stuck, and I trust that you're going to guide me. We all need an Obi-Wan at some point, and I had my fair share, so I knew that I wanted to turn around, pay it forward, and to actually be that for people. And so to hear that we caught you in time, not only that, but if we fast forward and we see the quality of the relationships that you had, like part of the program, I mean, what was different about this than anything that you've ever tried?
I suppose what I love about your work is that it brings, well, apart from the fact it acknowledges emotion as a guide and gives credit to the fact that we have that, but we don't have to be that, you know. So that's a little differentiation from obviously DeMartini work, where we don't pay any attention to emotion particularly. Okay, so it was great to have that acknowledged, that it's, you know, being accepting of where you are right now and why that should be the case, that you feel this way, but then not remaining in that place, helping to give the tools that, I've got to say, incredibly rapidly got me out of those states of being in particular. You know, when we broke it down into what's a major stress, what's a major memory, what's something you're feeling guilty or shame or whatever we were focusing on, you know, going into that was, and dealing with things, and one in particular in relation to my son. I know you remember it well. You know, that memory has been with me for 13 years, and 13 years of guilt and shame and beating myself up for having been a terrible mother and not protected my son, had a major impact, not just on my perception of myself as a parent, but also I know it impacted the relationship on a subtle level, but it went deep. It looked subtle on the surface, but it actually ran really deep, because it impacted my son.
The thing that shocked me the most about it was, after we cleared that emotional charge,
yes,
what happened right after?
Right after. So just to give something very quickly, it was 7:30 a.m. in the morning when I was working with Nima here in Australia. And my son doesn't get up till the afternoon. So I was working in the kitchen doing my finances. Some people have seen my kitchen bench with that. And my son came up into the kitchen and came up behind me and just gave me the biggest hug. And that had not happened. It was like a little kid. He's 22 now. You know, like I cannot in living memory remember when he came to me in that way and gave me a hug. And I knew in that moment that because of the entanglement, there had been a shift, that he felt able to come and do that.
Shift in your emotional story, dissolve the guilt, and all of a sudden, that was really cool, because in the Facebook group after it happened, you came and shared. It was a very tearful, beautiful.
I know, yeah.
And miraculous. And the thing is that when we first started, we were talking about career stagnation. And so the biggest
this is it.
The biggest revelation about this that I saw, that I've just kind of accidentally fallen into is when people are stuck in their careers, our relationships within our primitive relationships and the stories that we tell and the family dynamics that we have, any lack of integrity there that's broken down robs us of our power to perform and execute in our career. And so you can't just focus on one without another. It's really intertwined. And so everything transforming in your business and you stepping up as a result of the work that you're doing and cleaning up all of the lacks of integrity in your personal life was just like mind-blowing to me. I just love watching that happen. And I mean, what a shift. What a transformation.
Oh, honestly, I mean, and without going into every single thing that's gone on since then, that was the start. But, I want to impress upon everybody, anyone who's listening, that the difference in my relationship, not just my relationship with my son. So this is the thing. Here I am, center point here. I'm pivotal to all of this because I've got 100% responsibility for my whole life and all of my relationships with everyone else. Okay. Yeah. So I've got my son and I think that's fantastic, but that has impacted my daughter, that's impacted my husband. It's impacted the relationship my son has with my daughter. And my son with my husband. It continues to evolve and grow and improve out of sight, Nima. Out of sight. I can't take my son has improved his relationship with his father, and his relationship with his father has been really poor for many years because of his perception of his dad.
So what you're saying is that it's just rippled into everything.
Totally. Absolutely. Totally.
So that's really inspiring. So what's happened is, as a result of all of these transformations, I was just like, look, I was watching you going, wow, this is amazing. And so it was you, Nicole, that inspired me to create a overview experience in Brisbane. It was you. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. And so what's happening is we're bringing the show on the road. We're going to be in Brisbane, Australia, doing the overview experience, and Nicole is going to be hosting us in her hometown, and it's going to be one of the workshops that I've done all over the world. This will be my third time going back to Australia, second time doing the overview experience there, in a month. And what we're doing actually, as far as this project, is that we're actually creating a webinar that trains you how to make these these 3 key shifts that she made in order to bust through career stagnation. So basically, I left I can't tell if you can see it. Yeah, there it is. I have the link for the webinar is posted right in the comment section. If you will join us tomorrow, we have a limited seating of people that can go. I think we have a limitation on the Zoom call of how many people can come. So I guess the first 40 people can come. It'll be a Zoom training. What I'm going to be doing is going to be a Zoom training with a live Q&A over the 3 fundamental shifts to bust through career transition and transitional anxiety, career stagnation, which always has to do with relationships. And then there's going to be a chance for Q&A, and it's going to be tomorrow. And so this is an opportunity for you guys to just join in, get registered, and it's free of charge, and it's a kind of a group training that I'm going to be doing. Nicole will be hosting because she's got a group of people that she's got interested who we're going to jump in. And so based on all of this, that's happened with you, what's come of it and what's opened up is this inspiring idea of, oh my gosh, let's just teach people how to do this. So we're going to create this little, group training on Zoom for anybody who's interested. And it's kind of first come, first serve. And it'll be tomorrow at, Pacific time will be 5 p.m. Pacific time on Friday. And that's 8 p.m. Friday Eastern time. And I guess Australia time will be 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard, so Brisbane.
Yep. Eastern Standard, 10 a.m. So go ahead and register right away, and we would love to see you there for the live training.
Be Great.
So Nicole, is there any kind of final words that you'd like to say as far as this transformation, like where you were before, what possibility that has grown, that you've grown to, and somebody who's on the fence about like really diving deeper into this so that they can actually be aligned with their work, love what they do, and feel flowing and giving in exact fair exchange, receiving as well. What would you like to say to them?
Look, I would honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I mean, I do transformational work. I am committed to it, but obviously, you know, life got in the way. I can honestly tell you that no matter what issue or challenge you come to the program with, you will receive tenfold results at least in your life. So I came in wanting to reconnect to my vision and purpose and my mission and get my business back on track so I could make money, because I was in desperate state of affairs, right?
And what you got out of it was
what I got out of it was every facet of my life has improved beyond recognition, to the point like even my relationship with my husband is so, like, we're 28 years married this month. And like, we're just in a whole new space again. And he has said that I have changed so much that it has actually given him the inspiration and the courage to change and work on himself. Now, the ripples effects just keep going and going and going. And our business, our adventure company, is inspired and I'm back on track and back on mission, and we've got amazing high-end adventures. I've got my coaching business that is going in new directions. My relationships with my children, my clients even are being impacted, because I've even restored integrity with some clients who I really felt I needed to go back, and they've actually just the ripple effect, Nima, is incredible.
Beautiful. I am so delighted. You know, I get the opportunity to talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people are scared, and a lot of people are stuck. People have allowed that scared stuckness in their career or their relationships. They've allowed it to keep going to the point where their health is now on the decline. And this really inspires me to work with people who are 100% committed, coachable, resourceful, and are going to do what it takes. And it was just an absolute pleasure working with you up until we completed with the program. But the fact that I get to meet you in person in a few weeks and then serve a big group of people to help them over a weekend bust through their limiting beliefs and their traumas and stories. I can't wait. I'm really excited.
Oh,
Pitch me. I can't.
Here.
This is what a job, you know.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. And I know that we're so fortunate to have you coming over in Brisbane, and I'll call Southeast Queensland as well, you know, yay. It really is going to be fantastic. And for anyone who chooses to come and join us, you won't be disappointed. I can absolutely, if you commit, it might be scary, I understand it, but if you make that commitment, I promise you will be transformed.
It's supposed to be scary to have your old self die, because that's what I had to do when I reached that rock bottom that you were talking about, is that I realized at the sitting here at the age of 40 going, is this really what what's going on? I took a look at my life and I was like, wow, what did I do to get to this point? And I had to really take action and commit to the old self dying. And so that scares the shit out of a lot of people. And it is. I mean, there's commitment. You got to invest time, invest energy, invest resources, invest desire into wanting it. And, if we take the time, unfortunately, people who take the time to think about it, their fears really just kind of, it's the 5-second rule that Mel Robbins talks about, is a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you don't commit to your greater self within 5 seconds, the fears take over and they destroy your dreams, and then they keep you in that comfortable, stagnant self. And so this is for those ready to bust through stagnation by taking a leap of commitment into their highest version. And so send me a private message. Go ahead, follow the link and register for our Zoom call tomorrow. It's a group training that I do. And I really look forward to seeing you guys hopefully tomorrow if this is of it resonates with you. And Nicole, thank you so much for joining me, and sharing your story. And it's going to inspire so many people. And I can already see what an impact you're making, not only in your family's lives, but the lives of your clients as well. And so they're lucky to have you. And I've been privileged to work with you. It's been awesome.
Thank you, Nima. And I feel exactly this.
Can you? Sorry.
To work with.
Can you just say that again? That last 3 seconds.
Yeah, the little bit. I'm sorry, I forgot what I said, Nima.
Yeah, that's okay. You were saying some amazing things like I'm awesome, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest.
No, I don't think I said that. No,
awesome.
I said no. Something like that. You're awesome. You're awesome.
You're an asshole?
Yeah, we're getting closer now. That's it. That was the one.
I don't enjoy the.
I think I better write it down for you and give it to you when you arrive in Brisbane.
Can't wait to see you in a few weeks, hon. And
same. Let's see you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you then. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Take care.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.